Good morning, dear Sangha, dear friends. Can I have a show of hands who come here for the day and who are new to Plugcliff and new to the practice? Sister Nghiêm, she is raising her hand. I know because she practices to see things with the fresh eyes. Every time is like the first fresh time. So she sees things with a beginner's mind, like Brother Pháp Chứng mentioned last Sunday Dharma Talk. So the rest of us been here before. Okay. Thank you so much for coming to join us for the Day of Mindfulness. Before the Plugcliff Sangha goes to Deer Park in a few days to support the great precept ordination ceremony in October. And so it is like, I'm sorry to say that the last Day of Mindfulness, and then we will be closed for more than a month. And we will reopen again if conditions are favorable sometime at the end of October. So we treasure this moment that we are together and we are alive, we are practicing together. I know that to so many friends, especially during the pandemic, when the monasteries had to be closed, a lot of us, even us monastics, feel sad. At that time, for me personally, I had a strong feeling that, we really need one another, we really need community practice. And so when we share with a few friends that we will be closed because of the event in Deer Park, so they expressed their sadness again. So we know how significant, how important it is for people to have a spiritual home to come to practice. We can share the joy together, we share the sorrows together. So I'd like to invite everybody to come back to our awareness of our breathing when we listen to the three sounds of the bell. And as we are breathing, we send loving kindness to our body, to our mind, to what is happening inside of us right now. And also we bring to mind someone we love, or someone we like to send love to. We wish them well. It is so wonderful to practice loving kindness. And if you know about mantra, do you know what it means, mantra? In Plum Village, Thai talked about the 6 mantras. So mantra is like a phrase or Zen phrase. It helps us to focus, to help us concentrate on a practice. And if we repeatedly practice, have enough concentration on that kind of mantra, one day we will see the fruits of awakening. It works, so it brings us a lot of joy. So I'd like to also invite all of us here, when we listen to the sound of the bell, we enjoy listening to our breath. We send loving kindness to ourselves, to others, and we can also practice the mantra. I know you are here, and I am so happy. And I'm sitting here, when I practice that mantra, I'm happy, so I'd like to do something to offer. So I'm practicing, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And when we are here for each other, we want to offer the best. I'm fresh, solid, calm, and free. So I hope that when we enjoy the sound of the bell, all of us can do together, offering the best of ourselves. Thank you. Hello. Dear most respected, beloved Thai, dear brothers and sisters, dear friends. Even though we have a lot of Dharma doors, a lot of practices for us, it's not easy that we are always successful. Before I come here to offer the sharing, I like to follow my two sisters, out of kindness, loving kindness, and they came here to change the things so that everybody can see me. And I feel so good. Yeah, it's better now. I feel so grounded. It's been so long. I sitting here on this dais and share for the Dharma Talk time. And I've been practicing a lot this mantra that I just mentioned. I'm here for you. I'm fresh, solid, calm, and free because I want to offer the best to myself and to my Sangha. The reason why I came here, because I want to become nice and kind to my sisters. They asked me to offer something before I go to Deer Park. Like they say, to trả hiếu, to pay filial piety to Blue Cliff. So it means that to show my love, my gratitude to Sangha. And I'd like to share with you an interesting fact about me. That's why if I were to choose between giving a Dharma talk and do some other things, I would say I would prefer to do work like behind the scenes rather than to show up here. That is one interesting fact about myself. And I am a camera shy person. I'm too shy, so shy. Yeah, so I struggle a lot before I accept the request or the suggestion from the Sangha to come up here. I have to deal with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, thinking, complexes, all those things. But these days, because I want to wake up to the awareness that we will be away from Blue Cliff for more than a month. I myself, after the event, I will stay on for a few more months to join the winter retreat there with the Deer Park Sangha. So I'm going to miss the Blue Cliff Sangha. I'm going to miss you. Yeah, because of all 5 years plus living here and practicing here with Blue Cliff Sangha, we develop relationship, we develop good connection with the Sangha and friends who come here. So I see that we have many Plum Village centers internationally, right? And for our friends, when they come to the monastery, they practice with us in community work, in community practice, retreat. So they consider the monastery that is close to them, their home. So for our friends, the monastery that they used to come is like their home center, their home monastery. And thinking about going there, first, I'm going to miss autumn. I'm going to miss winter. Those two seasons are my equally favorite seasons here in Blue Cliff. And I'm not ready to be exposed to the 100+ degrees heat there in California. And I do miss the Sangha here, the monastics, my monastic siblings who, over the years, I have connection, I have known them well, and the friends that I have made. I've got to know them and support them and also receive support from them. And thinking about coming over there, I have to start all over again to make friends and to learn to adapt to the new environment. So it's also a lot of stress. But I like to be kind to the Sangha. I like to be kind to my sisters. They have prepared everything for me. I feel so special to have the lotus flowers here. So that is my practice, to live my last days at Blue Cliff before I go fully, as beautifully as I can. So each day, when I go to the meditation hall to do meditation with the Sangha, I allow myself to be open. I want to open my heart and my mind to connect with the energy in the meditation hall, because I'm aware that over the years, like Blue Cliff was established since 2007. Thầy came here, lead retreats, and so many people and monastics from other centers came and joined Thầy. We all practiced together. So we listen to Thei's Dharma Talk. So we have access to the Buddha's teachings and the insights from Thầy. And we practice with the monastics and friends. So we all share our insights, our joy. We all share our sorrows, our pain. So I feel like I treasure, I cherish all the energy that people have been contributing to this place. And that's why I feel how precious it is for our friends who come here. They find that this place is so peaceful. They feel so good. So with the fact that when our friends come here and they cherish this place, it reminds me to not forget about the conditions of happiness that I am enjoying. And I know what to do so that we together continue to build this place, to protect this place, and so that all of us can benefit. So talking about mantra, I'd like to know if you have a favorite mantra or a favorite Zen phrase or words of wisdom that you like to take in with you to the practice. Yes? No? Any mantra? Okay. Yes, Steve, what is your favorite mantra? My actions are my true belongings. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. So I have many favorite mantras, and it depends on the circumstances, depends on the situations that I like to apply. I like to practice that mantra so that I can deepen my concentration. So these days, I've been practicing, this is it, the sign, because that reminds me of the experience I had with Thai. In my novice year, I was attending Thai, and I was following Thai, going to the meditation hall in New Hamlet, France. And then Thai slowed down and then stopped and turned around, look at me, and Thai asked, "You know, my child, the meaning of the phrase, this is it." And at that time, I didn't know much about the practice. I just follow what other people were doing. So I kept silence, waiting for Thai to answer. And he said, "Yeah, that means that something that we've been looking for, and one day it just shows itself in front of us without us expecting it. So it's like we've been meditating, we've been reflecting on it, and one day we see the fruits." So the mantra, "I'm here for you, I'm here for you." I am fresh, solid, calm, and free, offering the best of myself. I've been practicing a lot with that, but it's not always successful. Sometimes I'm caught by other thinking. I cannot practice that well. And so when I come to the meditation hall and I look at this is it, I remember Thai, and I also remind myself, this is it. With this is it, we have different interpretation, right? So beside the meaning about like the aha moment when we have found something, it also means that this is the crucial moment. This is the important moment. We need to take it. So I am practicing that meaning. This is it. This is the only moment that I want to live beautifully. I want to live fully to my capacity, so that I can offer the best. Otherwise, it will be too late. So let us listen to one sound of the bell, and we can practice together the present moment. This is it. This is the only moment that I am alive. And so I like to offer my full presence for myself. Sorry, I'm quite emotional thinking about my leaving. So, when we are open-hearted, when our heart is open, our mind is open and tender, we can connect with the openness, with the kindness. And so I like to write on the board the verse in the Buddhist psychology about seeds and formations. And I'm going to challenge my younger sister, Sister Daffodil. She is smiling at the back. I want to ask Sister Daffodil if you know about this verse. I've been working in the community's garden for like 2 months, so I don't have much experience in doing gardening. So I'm so sorry to Sangha that I have not provided a lot, like enough harvest, greens and plants for you. I enjoy gardening just because I want to nourish myself. I want to take refuge in the earth, the soil, and the flowers there, and pulling the weeds, to practice taking care of the weeds in myself, and also to take refuge in the flowerness and the greenness in the garden. And so that inspired me to share with you this verse. So, I like to ask Sister Daffodil. She is smiling. Do you remember the English version for this verse in the Buddhist psychology, the 50 verses? Seeds can produce what? If you hesitate to answer, I would do it because I'd like to tell you another interesting fact about me. When I was young, I have 2 elder brothers, right? So they are like few years older than me, and they are boys, so they consider me a girl. They don't want to play with me. They like to play games for boys. So I would spend most of my time being with my father, to be friends with my father, or most of the time playing by myself. And one of my dreams as a girl was to be a teacher, because I was so inspired by my teacher. I see Brad here, so he reminds me of my teacher. And so I like to play the role of the teacher and the student at the same time, because I was by myself. So I would have a chalkboard, and I would wear the high heel shoes of my sisters. I have a cone hat, because my teacher used to have the cone hat with her when she entered the room, and the long ruler. So I would write on the board like that, seeds can produce blah, blah, blah. And then I asked, do you know the answer? And then I turn around playing the role of the student and raise my hand, and I give the answer. So that was one of my story. Okay, I'm asking again, Sister Nghiêm, or Sister Stace. Do you know that? Yes, correct, thank you. Seeds can produce seeds. Seeds can produce what? Formations, wonderful, thank you. You make the teacher happy. Because when I was young, I also wanted to make my teacher happy by bringing the lesson to my father to ask him to teach me ahead of time before I came to class. And when my teacher asked question, I would raise my hand, wanting to give the answer. Most of the time, I wanted to give the answer, and sometimes I gave wrong answer. Just because I wanted to prove that I know everything, but secondly, I know deep inside that I wanted to make my teacher happy. So seeds can produce formations. Formations can produce seeds. Formations can produce formations. Yeah. So it's all seed formations. And this verse is about the connection of the seeds and the formations. In Buddhist psychology, we talk about seeds as the potentials in us, something that has the capacity to manifest. Yeah, like we have the seed of joy, the seed of loving kindness, the seed of despair, the seed of sorrow. Yeah, so our mind is like the garden. So we call it the garden of our mind, the garden of our hearts. And in the garden of our mind, there are all kinds of seeds, both the good seeds and the not so good seeds, the skillful seeds and the unskillful, the beneficial seeds and the unbeneficial seeds. And formations are something that already manifested. Yeah, something like into the energy. Like when a seed of anger, like Thầy always said, when a seed of anger is triggered, it manifests into the energy of anger. So it's like formation. That is called the formation. And so coming back to open heart, open mind. So we water the seed of openness. We water the seed of kindness. So it just associate, it will motivate or give rise to other kinds of good seeds that have the same nature. Yeah. So imagine when we have faith, good faith in us, when we practice diligently, right? Then naturally the faith and the diligent practice will bring about a lot of joy. And when in the meditation practice, if we have joy, joy that is associated with inner peace, joy and peace, it's so easy for us to have concentration. So that is what it means by seeds can produce seeds. Yeah. So coming back to my shyness, right? So if my sisters encourage me to offer a Dharma talk, and if I feel so anxious, if I feel so shy, I feel stressed, that I just water those kind of seeds. I will go to the direction of anxiety, comparison. I compare myself with other brothers and sisters. I go to the direction of restlessness, wanting to find somebody to replace me, or I may have a wishful thinking that something happened and I wouldn't have to give a Dharma talk, something like that. So instead, why not? Why not coming back to myself, take care of my nervous system? What is it that caused me to feel uncomfortable? Yeah, and try to select the method of watering. We have to select watering. So one of the method of selective watering is to come back to the good memories of my childhood, return to innocence, when I enjoyed so much in whatever I was doing. Like I enjoy being a teacher and a student at the same time. And when I was young, I started to learn English when I was 10. Yeah. And those was my golden time. Because my hometown is the tourist city. So my family encouraged me to learn English so that when someday I grow up, I would find a job working with foreigners. And I remember I would go to the beach, swimming in the beach, and when I saw tourists, foreigners, I would wave my hand, hello, good morning, how are you? Whatever I learned from my English class, I just practiced speaking English with the tourists. And so I asked, where are you from? Back then in the 80s, there were Russian tourists. Yeah, so they speak English with a Russian voice. I still remember that vividly. And now, when I see friends who come to the monastery, that also watered that joy in my childhood. I just, with joy, it's like, hello, welcome to Blue Cliff. Where are you from? So I want to go back to innocence in order to water the joy, the interest in learning, in sharing. Yeah. And another interesting fact of me is I love singing. I like music. Another dream of mine when I was small, young, was to become a singer. But my father did not encourage me to become a singer. He said, that singing career wouldn't give you happiness. Your life would become complicated. Become a monastic instead. That was my father who said so. So I'm here today because he watered that seed in me. And so you see that in the sharing today, the manifestation of what I'm sharing comes from the memories of my childhood, the interests of my childhood. Coming to the monastery, we see that there are so many friends and monastics who are musical, especially here in Plough. I cannot close this Dharma Talk without showing you one of my favorite songs about Plough. And let us listen to the song. This song, I guess, was composed or was released to the public last year during the pandemic. So it is about the love for Plough and the scenery of Plough. Can you realize that song? Yeah, it's just a good nod to her head. So let me just share briefly the English translation for our English-speaking friends to know before I play the song to you. Excuse me, dear tech team, is it possible to lower the volume, or turn the volume down? Because I'd like to share the English version before I play the music. So, this evening arrives, sunlight bathes Plough in a golden hue. You see the scenery in Plough, and birds are calling one another with glee. The breeze comes rushing back, whistling aloud, sunshine in the four directions, sunshine spilling over the top. So this is the place on the sister's side. Gentle feet making steps in freedom. So this is the sunset at Sam's Point, where the Sangha usually goes and enjoy the sunset. So gentle feet making steps in freedom. Evening arrives, the wind finds its way back to Plough. On quiet winter evenings, snow blossom falls peacefully. This image I will remember so hard. Yeah, because here in Plough, when it comes to snowfall, and on a very calm and dry, snowy day, I just spend my time. I want to offer my presence for the snow. And we see snowflakes falling down so peacefully and in slow motion. If you ever witness that, and you are calm enough inside, you feel like you are doing snow meditation. And you feel like the snow is also meditating, because this falls so quietly, so peacefully, and slowly. So when I miss Blue Cliff, I would just play this song and I watch it. And this part, the brother talk about green pines. Green pines, on the brother's side, there are green pines. But green pines is also the name of the brother's place. Whereas white cranes are for the sisters. So our teacher, Thầy, he named beautiful names and very meaningful. So green pines rising up shoulder to shoulder, carrying aspirations to build life fresh and joyful. So when we look at the brothers, we see they work together. They support each other to improve this place. Today, when we do walking meditation, we have a chance to enjoy the path that the brothers and the sisters help renovate. And when we do lunch outside around the picnic table, we can give rise to happiness and gratitude to Brother Pháp Chứng and Sister Bối Nghiêm, Sister Bát Nghiêm, and other monastics and friends who came to Blue Cliff and offer their helping hands in making this place a beautiful place for everybody, a home for everybody. So the brothers say so beautifully, and I'm so touched by these lines. Green pines still rising up shoulder to shoulder, carrying aspirations to build life fresh and joyful with all species. Isn't it beautiful, the aspiration? And now he comes to white cranes, the sisters' place. White cranes coming back together in harmony. You go to the dining hall on the sister side, you see the sign written by Thầy, Great Harmony. That is the place of the sisters. Cultivating the heart of enlightenment, and with love, transforming delusions and ignorance. So that is the aspirations. So those are the key that I take from the song. And I'd like to play for everybody to enjoy. Composed by Brother Pháp Khôi. Do you know Brother Pháp Khôi? Who is Brother Pháp Khôi? Yeah, he's there sitting there. Okay, so the sound on. Yeah.
Chiều về nắng nhuộm vàng bích nhân, bầy chim đang ríu rít gọi đàn. Gió lùa về gió reo vang, nắng bốn bề nắng ngập tràn. Chân nhẹ nhàng bướcênh thang tang tình tang. Chiều tà gió tìm vầng sáng mỉm cười thật xinh. Bính nhâm chiều đông vắng êm đềm hoa tuyết rơi, tùng xanh vẫn vươn mình sánh vai, và nguyện ước xây đời thắm tươi cùng mọi loài. Hoa đàn hạt trắng bên nhau tìm về, bồi đắp con tim bồ đề, thường truyền hóa làm mê. Bính nhâm mùa xuân đến xanh màu áo xanh, tạo khê mát thơm dòng suối trong, tia nắng sớm hoa cười với ta hiền lành. Hè về ta áo nâu thương màu thiền, lời kinh sớm bên bạn hiền, cười nở trên cành sen. Ngày ngày ta trở về với ta, màu thu bao lá thắm mặn mà, tay ấm tay chén trà bên khói hương, bình an đến trong lòng ta. Bính nhâm chiều đông vắng êm đềm hoa tuyết rơi, tùng xanh vẫn vươn mình sánh vai, và nguyện ước xây đời thắm tươi cùng mọi loài. Hoa đàn hạt trắng bên nhau tìm về, bồi đắp con tim bồ đề, truyền hóa lâm mê. Bính nhâm mùa xuân đến xanh màu áo xanh, tạo khê mát thơm dòng suối trong, tia nắng sớm hoa cười với ta hiền lành. Hè về ta áo nâu thương màu thiền, lời kinh sớm bên bạn hiền, cười nở trên cành sen. Ngày ngày ta trở về với ta, màu thu bao lá thắm mặn mà, tay ấm tay chén trà bên khói hương hiền hòa, bình an đến trong lòng ta.
Thank you, Prabhupada, for such a very beautiful song. So each one of us as practitioner, we carry in our heart aspirations, especially on the path of practice. It's not easy to realize aspirations. Because the road, the path is so long with a lot of challenges waiting before us. So we need a lot of practice and a lot of strength in order to overcome, so that we can realize our aspirations. And for me, when I joined the Sangha, in the Sangha's activities, I also want to have a balance between practicing with the Sangha and practicing on my own. Because after all, each one of us is like the alone traveler on this path. Imagine when we are sick, only us who experience the sickness, how we are feeling in our body. The brothers and sisters, they may have sympathy for our condition, for our sickness, but they are not living our body, so they can just not feel what we are experiencing. So I also see the same for the practice, the path of practice. I take refuge in the collective energy of the Sangha. When everybody is solid, calm, and free, I benefit from those energy. But I myself have my own pain, my own difficulties, and other people, when they come here together to the community, they also carry with them all kinds of seeds, both the beneficial and the unbeneficial. So we somehow influence one another. And each one of us has to take steps to practice, to take care of ourselves, so that we can nourish the mind of love. Sometimes when we experience some obstacles, hurt, then what is our reaction to those situations? Whether we become shriveled, contracted from fear, from pain, from hurt, or we close ourselves and we don't want to open anymore. We build a wall. We think that we want to protect us, but that also prevents the possibilities for us to open to understanding, to awareness, right? So I remember in the past, when friends came to the practice, they also give input. They also give comments. And I remember sometimes I react, especially if my defense mechanism turns on. I just ignore, because I think that, oh, this person is judgmental. This person does not talk good about the Sangha. So I want to protect the Sangha, even if I know about those comments, those I consider criticism or input. I just keep it for myself, because I help in the registration office, so I got to know quite some information from other people. But now I changed. Yeah, I changed my attitude. I want to be open in order to receive the input, the criticism, the comments, and my aspiration is to practice, to try to understand, rather than to have walls of protection up. So the attitude makes a difference, right? We can see openness versus resistance. We look into humility versus pride, or interest versus unconcern. We see what difference it makes. If somebody tells me, hey, sister, you need to have basic training about race. You seem not to have any knowledge about race, what is going on here in America, so that you can give, you can share the practice to friends. Sister, what would you feel if somebody tells you that they belong to the LGBTQIA+ community, they belong to the non-binary group? And in the past, when I first heard about that, my reaction was, I make a face. I would make a face because that was something different from my mindset, from the convention that I'm used to. Or I might say, oh, it's not normal. But now I learned that if we do not open, we do not show interest in learning about the different cultures, people who are different from us, then we continue to cause suffering to one another, and people cannot feel safe when they come to practice. They come to the monastery thinking that, oh, they want to find a place of refuge so that they can heal. But because I am not concerned about those gender expansiveness, I'm not aware of gender topics. So in my sharing, even though I have a good intention, because I'm still ignorant, so I may turn people away because I don't understand them yet. I cannot speak their language. So now, with my aspiration, practicing, helping share the practice, the Dharma in America, where there are a lot of social issues going on, like race, like gender expansiveness, and like globally the climate crisis and trauma. So I want to open myself, and with humility and with interest. Like when I was young, I showed interest in learning English to learn more about these topics so that I can adjust my practice and I can enhance the practice so that I can share, I can continue to practice with friends. Thầy insight inspired me a lot to go into this direction. He said that Buddhism, in order to be Buddhism, must be suitable, appropriate to the psychology and the culture of the society that it serves. So it starts from the attitude. In the past, I might have made a face when I heard something that is different from my way of belief or my mindset. But now I want to be open and humble. I want to change my attitude when I hear something by showing sincerity and humility. Oh, I'm sorry. This topic, I don't know much about it. I don't understand much, but I want to learn. So please help me. So I think with this attitude, it already helps change, right? And that is not enough. We need to also increase the level of awareness and the understanding. Yeah. Sometimes when we have a good intention, I really, whenever I come to people, I want to help them, it comes from my good intention. But because I am not aware enough, I don't have enough understanding, so good intention with ignorance sometimes contribute to causing harm. Yeah. And so I want to be more aware in order to understand, to learn to understand. So when I share the practice, I can speak the language of those people who are different from me. Yeah. And aspirations, we sometimes, because of those obstacles, challenges in our life, they fade away. We need to remind ourselves by giving rise to aspiration. So what are the practices that motivate you to continue to show up and not close your eyes before suffering, your own suffering or the suffering of other people? I'd like to ask everybody, what are your practices that motivate you, that sustain you from the inside and continue to show up, but not withdraw, not close your eyes before suffering? For me, one of the practices is that to touch the earth. Very often when I encounter some roadblock on the path or the bottleneck situation, you see the bottle, it has a neck. When we encounter bottleneck situation, we cannot move forward. And most of the time, in order to sustain the aspirations, I touch the earth before Thầy in me. And I silently connect myself with Thầy. I ask Thầy, please give me your strength. Please transmit to me your great capacity to love and to continue to learn. Thầy, he always wants to learn in order to understand. So I really like to take refuge in Thầy and in his great aspiration. This morning it was so beautiful that Brother Man Tuệ read to us invoking the names of the Bodhisattva, right? So I also was in touch with the great aspirations of those 4 Bodhisattvas. I learned to touch open-heartedness so that I can listen deeply. I want to listen so attentively to what is being said and what is left unsaid. So if we really offer our true presence to whatever we are learning, whatever we are practicing, then one day we will have, this is this moment, the aha moment. This is it. What I've been looking for, what I've been contemplating on, it shows itself in front of me. And we feel so happy that we live a meaningful life. So, before I close, I want to also play to you another song by our dear sister. So we see in Plugcliff, there are two hamlets. One is Green Pine on the Brothers. We already enjoyed one, composed by Brother Pháp Khối. And now I'd like to play to you another song composed by one of the sisters, on the sister side. So we know Thầy Pháp Khối, he is the abbot of Green Pine Hamlet. And I'd like to introduce to you the abbess of White Crane, Sister Thầy Nghiêm, True Vow. Is it? It's not playing.
Countless ones walk beside you. We're not alone. Countless souls walk before you, and all their hardships and sorrows, all their hopes and fears, all their hard-earned experiences
the song about opening hearts, opening mind, and breaking the path wide open. Our ancestors, our teachers have paved the path for us to walk on. So it is our responsibility, our love, to continue to take these steps and carry our ancestors and our teachers. So if for some reason our heart cannot be open and we have walls built up instead, so we ask ourselves, what are those walls? What walls do I have in me? Are they ancient walls? The ancient walls that I have inherited from my ancestors, from my society, or the newly built walls that I have built for myself because of my ignorance, because of my resistance, my narrow-mindedness, that prevent me from being open-minded. So, coming back, like reviewing what I have just mentioned, first, we have attitude. If we have the right attitude, it helps makes the difference. Then we have the awareness, the understanding of the situation. We give rise to the aspirations, the beautiful aspirations that we have inside us, we want to nourish. And then, the next step is taking action. What kind of action that we want to take? What kind of practices that we want to take to continue to be open-minded, to continue to expand our mind to understanding and love. And it's also important to remember that if we take action in our practice, because we want to see the change, right? Sometimes we feel stagnant in the practice, like to encounter roadblocks or bottleneck. And the practice is like to do something like to compose the energy. Yeah, it's like seeds produce seed, formation produce formation. We have to do something to compose, to transform the energy so that we can make the energy flow, to bring in something fresh, to bring in the change. And we ourselves should be the change we want to see. And if we have good intention, we have strong aspiration, we want to take action, but please remember about regularity versus intensity. If we practice intensively for a short period of time and then we stop, we take a break, we cannot change. We cannot make progress on our path. So, regular practice. Yeah. So I'd like to close here with a lot of gratitude and love to everybody. And thank you for being here with us for the Day of Mindfulness before Blue Cliff goes to Deer Park. I would like to wish everybody a lot of peace and happiness, a good health. We take good care of ourselves so that we can see each other again for the days of mindfulness or the retreats in the future. I know that Magnolia Grove Center in Mississippi, they have to close because of the COVID, but we are still lucky that we are still here today. So until we meet again, may you all be safe and healthy and happy. Thank you so much.
So good morning, dear teacher, dear community. First of all, let us give thanks to Sister Spirit for her sharing today. Thank you, Sister. And welcome everyone to the Day of Mindfulness again. And after this, we will have a